Yeah, thank you for the invitation. And yeah, my background is a PhD in cardiovascular physiology and biophysics. Academically, the areas that was studying during the course of my PhD and then activities thereafter really fall into the congestive heart failure, vascular disease, and transplant immunology space for heart and kidneys. I pretty much from the moment I graduated with my PhD, I was recruited by several companies, one of which was Cardiome Pharma in Vancouver. And at that time, we were developing drugs for congestive heart failure, for atrial arrhythmia, and for gout, so as a replacement for allopurinol in individuals who couldn't tolerate that drug. We'd moved the antiarrhythmia drug forward, and now it's marketed across Europe. The gout program, for business reasons, was stopped despite the fact that it received an approvable letter from the FDA, suggesting that the FDA's view was that the drug was safe and effective. Their request with the approvable letter was for an additional pharmacokinetic study. I was there for about a year after that, and then moved on to co-found Stem Cell Therapeutics, which is a drug using pregnancy hormones to turn on endogenous stem cells in stroke, traumatic brain injury, and Parkinson's. I was there for 8 years as the VP Product Development and Chief Scientific Officer, and then with a colleague co-founded XORTX in 2013, where there was an opportunity to bring together a family of patents that showed and claim the use of all uric acid lowering agents to treat a disease axis that includes weight gain, high blood pressure, metabolic syndrome, so the pre-diabetes symptoms, and also the health consequences of diabetes. We did that, and since that time, we've been focused on writing our own intellectual property around new proprietary formulations of oxypurinol. So that's my background. The general answer is there are a lot of individuals who suffer from chronic kidney disease. We estimate that about 60% have progressing kidney disease. That means it's progressing on a year-by-year basis and accelerating in terms of the loss of filtering capacity. Our interests as a company really lie in diabetic nephropathy that contributes about half of all individuals, so half of that 37 million in the US that are suspected of having progressive kidney disease. And in autosomal dominant polycystic kidney disease, this is a disease where a genetic background predisposes you to have cysts in your kidneys, and those can lead to an accelerated form of progressive kidney disease that represents about 5% of all individuals who lose their kidneys by age 55. The company itself was founded, as I mentioned, in 2013. Our focus at that time was on the various health benefits of inhibiting the xanthine oxidase enzyme and on lowering uric acid, because there was already, by 2013, evidence to suggest that there was a possible benefit. We've focused the company since about 2015 solely on the kidney disease space because, for one, there are very few therapeutic options. Generally, someone with chronic kidney disease would have their blood pressure treated because blood pressure and kidney disease go hand in hand. And if they had diabetes, their blood sugar would be managed. But beyond that, there are very few therapies approved that would slow the progression of kidney disease. For us, our focus is on taking oxypurinol, which much of the team had developed in the early 2000s, and reformulating it. That provides a substantial increase in aqueous solubility, which translates into increased bioavailability. And that gives us the flexibility to dose across the therapeutic range where we believe there's an opportunity to introduce this class of drugs for the first time in autosomal dominant polycystic kidney disease. That program, we've given the name XRX 008, and that new proprietary formulation of oxypurinol we've called XORLO, XORLO. This program has made great strides in the course of the last year with an IND filing with the US FDA, communications with the European Medicines Agency, with manufactured drug and tablet, and completed the clinical testing, the bridging pharmacokinetic study that's key to moving forward, and selecting a dose for the individuals who will ultimately be treated with this drug. We're poised now, because of that work that occurred over the last year, to be able to launch a single registration study in polycystic kidney disease as a stepping stone to marketing approval. And we've been fortunate in our communications with the FDA and received a substantial amount of clarifying guidance to suggest that a single study should be sufficient to gain approval. And so we're working towards starting that study in mid-year this year. The study itself has three parts. The first part being an open label titration where we start dosing individuals who have polycystic kidney disease that's mild to moderately severe, with a low dose of drug, then a moderate dose, then a higher dose. Not excessively high, but sufficient to understand what their circulating oxypurinol concentrations are. That tells us, because it's been very carefully characterized over many years, where we are in terms of limiting the activity of that enzyme, and our goal is to limit that enzyme by at least 90%. So for us, as we move forward, the dose titration part of the study will give us an early readout with about 12 weeks of dosing. Then for those individuals who respond well to the drug, we'll randomize those, so we enrich the protocol. The second element of that protocol is a look at total kidney volume and the benefit of xanthine oxidase inhibition on total kidney volume over 1 year of treatment. We'll get a readout at that point. That may lead to the opportunity for accelerated approval, as total kidney volume has been characterized by the FDA as a validated surrogate. And then we'll continue to treat for a 2-year period to look at estimated glomerular filtration rate decline and the amount that we can reduce that decline in individuals with polycystic kidney disease that are in that range. The trial itself will be, in the first part, 200 individuals, and then an additional 300 in the second part. We've made great strides in showing the harmful effects of uric acid, even when it's moderately elevated above the normal range in the past year or so. There are about a dozen studies that show when you lower uric acid, you can slow the progression of kidney disease. We think for autosomal dominant polycystic kidney disease, as an orphan drug, is the ideal first step to position oxypurinol, the reformulation of oxypurinol, XORLO, into a patient population. And this will give us the opportunity to potentially be marketing the drug by 2026. For us, that's an ideal scenario and one that should create value over the course of the next couple of years.